Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. Once again, my name is Nicodemus Kane. Today is February the 14th of 2022. Today is Lupercalia. For all those that are celebrating, whether you know it or not, you sold yourself out. Congratulations. No, it is a pagan holiday. You're celebrating it, Lupercalia. So, anyways, today we're going to read Psalm 108. This is a song or psalm of David. For all those that are left that I haven't made mad because I said yet again, you're celebrating a pagan holiday. You know what? Doesn't matter to me. We're supposed to call out evil whenever we see it. This is just another thing of evil. That's all it is. It's the whole world. It is the first of the four of the big rituals that happen throughout the year that they changed the name of. They've made it pretty. They've made it marketable. They've made you believe that it was nothing to worry about. And you celebrate it with such enthusiasm because you think that you're doing so good by showing how much you love somebody one day out of the year. it's like Father's Day and Mother's Day. I kind of thought at one point in time were just the marketing ploys of card makers, greeting card makers. Just to be, I almost think that Mother's Day and Father's Day are probably the same thing too. But it falls along those lines of how could you just how could they make you believe that if you just put all of your money and time and effort into one day out of the year, you don't have to worry about the other 364 days of the year. You know, that's we'll get into that. We might get into that. I don't know. We're gonna read Psalm 108 though. I am. The more I think about today, the more I think, man, for everything I've learned over the past 4 or 5 years, it just actually 6 years now. It just blows my mind how we have just been so manipulated. So, anyways, this is Psalm 108. Oh God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise, even with my glory. Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered, and save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem, and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us off? And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. There you go. There are a lot of names of cities and people and nations that I'm sure that if we looked it up, we would understand what this is, what it says about them. Not much else to it. We get that every now and then. A psalm that, when it was written, it would have been understood better than it is now. So we will go over it again, but I'm probably not going to stop as much as I usually do because it's something that we need to look further into. I will tell you right now, I may not look too further into this. I don't know. I probably should. There's probably more into this than we will ever know. If you're listening to this, though, and if you want to know, please feel free, because there's always something hidden in these things that you never really know what's there. So starting at the top, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise, even with my glory. I will sing and give praise even whenever I am doing well. When I have the best of everything in the world, I will still sing and give praise. When I am at my lowest and at my highest. Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. That's what we're supposed to do. Sing praises to God everywhere. Speak out to the nations, to the people, to everyone of God's glory. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth. That thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem, and mete out the valley of Succoth. Now we're starting to get into these cities and these nations that almost every single one of these, somebody said that, if you go through the Bible and if you look up these places where they say who these people were, most of these cities were named after somebody else, or the name came from the people that lived there, or something to that effect. And if you look up who these people were and where they came from and what they believed in, you understand why they say the things that they say. Now, again, I don't know half of these, so I can't say, and I'm not going to give lessons on what that was. If you want to know more, please feel free. Sometimes it is hard to find these, and sometimes if you go to Google to find this stuff out, it's hard to find it too. Where are we at? Verse 8. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Now, of course, a couple of those are the children of Israel. I'm almost thinking I should look up this. It says to go back to Genesis 49:10. I probably should, but I'm going to leave it alone for now. Verse 9, Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me unto Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us off? And wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Will you not bring us into the cities? You cast us off. We're asking you to bring us back into the cities. We're asking you to go forth with us, with our hosts. Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Of course, that goes, what's the line? Well, I'm thinking about the line, let God be true and let all men be liars. But there's another line similar to that is, oh man, what was it? Something along the lines of through God all things are possible, through man everything is vanity, or something similar to that. That's not word for word, but it's similar to that though. Is give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Just put your trust in God before you ever put your trust in a man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. Which is definitely something that we are asking for nowadays. Father, give us the ability to be able to give us the ability to be able to tread down our enemies. Give us the ability to be able to overcome what evil men have done to us. Help us turn it around. Help us make it better than it is. Help us save ourselves. Help us save our children and our grandchildren. Help us keep the evil of this world from overtaking all of us. It's the best way I can put it. But that one was short. And again, that, you hit those Psalms. For every, 2 or 3 really, really great ones that uplift you and inspire you and get you, you get one like that you're just like, there's a lot more to that I should probably be looking into. That is, of course, what it is. So, anyhow, I don't even feel like blasting on Lupercalia at this point. I really don't. I'm just kind of like, I know I've gone over it before, and I know I've said stuff about it before, and you can do whatever you want to. People can, live your life however you want to. I'm gonna say that God has a better way than this world. I'll tell you that right now. He has a better way than this world, and all he asks you to do is give up the crap that this world feeds you so that you can become something better than you are. That's all God wants to do, is he wants to pull you out of it. He wants to pull you out of it and say, hey, look, there's something better over here. And I know, there are people that still celebrate Christmas, still celebrate, Easter and still celebrate Valentine's Day and still celebrate, Halloween, and they still seem like the best people in the world, and that's fine. If they have some kind of a thing going with God where, they can do that, I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm not going to take that away from anybody, actually. If you want to do that, you can do that. I'm not going to tell you otherwise whatsoever. But if you have been lied to about how you live, about where you go, where you live, who you are, wouldn't you want to know the truth? And if you knew the truth, wouldn't you want to come out of it? And again, that's entirely up to people. I am not in any mood or position anymore to try to tell anyone what to do or where to go at this point. I am simply putting this stuff out there, and if you want to listen to it, and if you want to come on out of it, you come on out of it. If you want to stay in it, you stay in it. I'm going to tell you right now that the Bible says, come out of her. The Bible says, God said directly, do not worship me the way that the pagans worship their gods. But we still do it anyways. We probably do it more than I even know. There's still the whole thing where every one of our days, the days of the week, we have named after pagan gods. I mean, we're still at that point. So what are we going to do about that? Are we going to change that? Or are we just going to let that go? See, there's still that amount of deception to it all. So how do we fix it? How do we come out of it? We have to call out evil where it is. That's what we're supposed to do. Let's just call it out. And I'm going to call it out. If people don't like it, people don't like it. I mean, people don't like it. I'll tell you what, man. You tell somebody that they're they're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas because God doesn't want them to do the rituals that you do during Christmas, man. You'll see people get mad. You'll see people get mad, you'll see people get upset, and you're just like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm gonna tell you that what you're doing is wrong. That if you want to follow God, if you want to follow the true word of God, if you want to understand what God has in store for you, you should probably walk away from these things. But if you don't, that's fine. You and him are going to have to settle that up whenever you get there. I can't do it for you. So that's just it is what it is. I can't, you know, I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. I have moved out of it, and I can tell you all the reasons I moved out of it. One of the reasons is that, again, God tells us not to do these things. Um, I have not seen anything. I'm sure there probably is, though. I have not seen anything, though, inside of the Bible about Lupercalia, but I'm sure it's in there. But the fact that it started as a pagan holiday or pagan rituals, that should tell you something right there. That kind of gives you the base of where you're going with this. Um, at the same time, I have also said that the book of Jasher tells us that there are four different celebrations that they had, and a lot of people can say, "Well, Jasher doesn't mean anything." Hey, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Uh, where was that? I'm gonna pull the book out. You know me. Uh, again, I don't. The book of Jasher, which if you don't want to believe is biblical, then don't believe it's biblical. That's cool. That's fine. Again, this book knows more than you do. This book has understandings of things that we don't. So, chapter 18 of the book of Jasher, of course, we've talked about this before. Chapter 18, verse 13, and all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah went there 4 times in a year. This was a place in a valley. It's a half a day's walk. There's a great deal of herbage surrounded by water. Went there 4 times in a year. 4 times, 4 celebrations with their wives and children and all belonging to them. And they rejoiced there with timbrels and dances. And then the time of rejoicing, they would all rise and lay hold of their neighbors' wives, and some the virgin daughters of their neighbors, and they enjoyed them. And each man saw his wife and daughter in the hands of his neighbor, and did not say a word. And they did so from morning to night, and they afterward returned home, each man to his house, and each woman to their tent. So they always did 4 times in a year. Now, that is a festival that happened out in the middle of the wilds, where there was, like I said, it was fountains of water and great deals of herbage around the water. This is all 5 cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. In these days, all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and of the whole 5 cities were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord. But that was, that's the 5 cities. Of course, the Bible says that it was only the 2, maybe 4. Some people have said 4. It doesn't matter. Book of Jasher says that they had celebrations 4 times a year, which line up with the solstices, the solstice, the equinox, and what's the other one? the Oh, come on now. Are there 2 equinoxes and 2 solstices? Is that what it is? Probably, I guess. Because, you have equal days, solstice. What are the four solstices and equinoxes? Yeah, I was right. So there you go. But it's when it's spring and the sun comes out, they celebrate. They celebrate by having fertility festivals. They celebrate by, you know, getting naked, getting party freaks, having fun. They celebrate all the way through the spring. They celebrate all the way up until the sun is at its highest point at the middle of the year, um, which is, what is it, June the 22nd, I think it is. Oh, goodness. June the 20th or the 21st, somewhere around there. Um, Interestingly enough, about 13, 14 days later, 2 weeks later, you celebrate the sun going away with fireworks, July 4th. Uh, but then, the sun starts going away. You start getting more nighttime than you do day. And of course, like I said before, that the pagans start freaking out that, oh, the sun's not going to come back. So we have to appease the sun. How do we appease the sun? Oh, let's start killing our children. We'll start doing human sacrifices because, animal sacrifices don't work. We have to start doing. It's like it says. It's like it says it also says in the book of Jasher, whenever the giants were on the earth, and whenever the earth couldn't sustain them, that they had to start eating men. It's the same thing with this. Is whenever animals will not sustain your sacrifices, you have to start sacrificing men. Um, and of course, they pick the most innocent and energetic people, the children, and they start sacrificing them. And that's what it is. And then you have two sacrificial rituals, two big ones towards the end of the year. They're also fertility festivals too, if you can believe that. But you have to have the fertility festivals in order to be able to feed into the sacrificial. That's how it works. I don't remember where it was I heard it. If it was a video or if it was something I read, but it was explaining how the way that the four festivals were set up, it's that you could have a child of an age where it would be, sacrificed. But you would have a child of age by that time next year. Or some of them could have them, give birth on that day. There's 9 months between the original. There's 9 months between the original Lupercalia and, Christmas. Sadly, it's closer to 9 months between Lupercalia and Samhain. So which is All Hallows Eve, which is Halloween. So you could be giving birth on that day. It's cyclical. It's sick and it's cyclical, of course. Oh, but that just sounds crazy. You're out of your mind. I could be out of my mind. I could really be out of my mind. The puzzle pieces fit, so I would at least look into it. But I mean, it's there. It's a thing, and we know that Halloween is the time of year where more children go missing than any other part of the year. We know that Halloween is a sacrificial ritual. It goes all the way back to the Druids. It goes all the way back, probably further than that. I mean, we don't really know exactly when the heck, the Egyptians used to do it, or anybody else used to. We don't know. We know that they were there. We also know that the Romans had all of these, crazy party freaks that happened around the time of the emperor's birthday, which is Christmas, and Lupercalia, because Lupercalia was a Roman holiday. We're going to get into that here in a second. Let me blow my nose. All right. I need to put a trash bag in my trash can. All right. Let me make sure I'm doing here because I already got it pulled up. You look up Lupercalia. The first thing you get is the History Channel, because the History Channel is such a bastion of giving you true, honest history. They are. That's just, if you can't trust the History Channel, who can you trust, right? But anyways, you look at all this other stuff. You look it up anywhere else, it's the same thing. This says Lupercalia was an ancient pagan festival held each year in Rome on February the 15th. Now, of course, the dates never line up. None of the dates ever line up. They say that, um, the December solstice is December the 22nd. And, of course, Christmas is December 25th. Oh, see, they don't line up, so it's not the same thing. It doesn't matter. They changed your calendars. They changed your calendars. Your calendars are not the same that they used to be. They've moved the calendar so much that you don't know what day you're on anymore. It doesn't matter what modern day is. It matters what their calendar says. And their calendars say different things than our calendars do. So this is not, oh, this happens on February the 14th. This is not, this happens December the 25th. This happens. It's what the people that practice these rituals, the people that changed your calendars, it's what they say it is. So if it says February 15th, it doesn't, None of this stuff lines up anymore. Everything is so out of whack. Absolutely so out of whack. Although Valentine's Day shares its name with a martyred Christian saint, I highly doubt that. Some historians believe the holiday is actually an offshoot of Lupercalia. Really? Unlike Valentine's Day, however, Lupercalia is a bloody, violent, and sexually charged celebration awash with animal sacrifice, random matchmaking, and coupling in the hopes of warding off evil spirits and fertility. I highly doubt that too. I don't think this was about warding off evil spirits. This is something more than that, and there's other stuff going on here. And then it goes into Lupercalia and the legend of Romulus and Remus. It says it goes back to about the 6th century BC. I'm sure it goes back earlier than that. You could probably dig some stuff up. Am I still recording? I still got it. That's weird. I just kind of checked my mic and it looked like it wasn't working. If you guys didn't hear any of that, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just not showing up. It's weird. Oh well. It probably goes back earlier than that. It's probably an offshoot of something else because the Romans didn't do anything original. The Romans stole everything that they had. Romans stole everything they had from the Greeks. The Greeks stole everything they had from the the Babylonians. They stole everything they had from the Egyptians. It just got passed down and passed down. The names got changed, and there you go. Most of it was set up there anyways, because you got to remember that everybody was a one world order back at the Tower of Babel, and they all got separated. But they still took all of those ancient customs that they used to do, changed the names, changed their dates, telephoned it out, the old game of telephone where, one person says one thing and it gets changed. It's what they did. So they kept all these. Things changed as they went. Until you get to modern day where they just change it all into this nice, nice pretty package to where they get you to spend all your money on all this crap so that, you can make your beloved happy with you. If you cannot love your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever it is, if you cannot love them all year round and, want to do good things for them all year round instead of just one day per year, you're doing it wrong. It's like Christmas. One of the biggest problems I have with now is that there are I see it more now than I ever used to is people say, "Oh, it's the time of giving. Let's give toys for tots. Let's give all of this stuff to the kids. Let's give all the money to this and that." And I'm like, "Why can't you do that all year round? Why do you have to wait until right now to do this?" "Well, we do this all year round." I said, "No, you don't. No, you don't. If you were doing this all year round, we would be talking about this weekly. But you don't. You only come around with this Toys for Tots nonsense. You only come around with this give money to, special whatever it is around Christmas time. I never hear you talking about this, in like March. I never hear this. Why has it got to be this specific day of the year? You're supposed to be good all the time, not just one day a year. You're supposed to be good. You're supposed to praise God all the time, not one day of the week. So what's going on? Why is it that you have to have one specific day to tell your spouse, your man, woman, why do you have to tell them on one day of the year how good you feel about them? Now I used to be a big Valentine's Day guy. I used to go all out, whole hog, because I didn't understand. Because I used to be the one that used to buy a dozen roses and go out and pass them out to random girls on the street. Not because I was ever looking. Well, okay, yeah, I was kind of looking for somebody, but I always passed them out to random girls on the street because 9 times out of 10, I would get the reaction that my boyfriend would never do this kind of thing for me. I have more than enough Facebook memories where I say, if a man gets mad at me for giving out a stupid, ridiculous cartoon Valentine's Day card to a girl in a bar, because she's never gotten anything as sweet as that's on you, dude. And that's like, why can't you do that all year round? You're supposed to love your spouse all year round, not just one day of the year, all year round. But people don't. People want to put it on one specific day. They want to go out and spend every single penny they have to make it good. Take them out to dinner, treat them nice, do all this stuff. It's like, I do that to my woman all the time. I buy her gifts all the time. I take her out whenever we want to. It's like, why do you have to make it one specific day? You know why you make it one specific day? Because they tricked you into doing it on one of their pagan holidays. And sure enough, everything you do is something that they used to do. Oh, but that's not right. No. Everything you do is something they used to do. So anyways, they give you this story about Romulus and Remus. They were ancient king Amulius ordered Romulus and Remus, his twin nephews, to be thrown into the Tiber River and drowned in retribution for their mother's broken vow of celibacy. Right. A servant took pity on them, however, and placed them inside a basket on the river instead. Wow, that sounds like a rip-off of something we've heard before. The river god carried the basket and the brothers down river to a fig tree, where it became caught in the branches. The brothers were then rescued and cared for by a she-wolf in a den at the base of Palatine Hill, where Rome was founded. Right. Palatine Hill, one of the 7 hills. Interestingly, one of the 7 hills of Revelations. The twins were later adopted by a shepherd and his wife. Do you hear how much this is ripping off other stuff? After killing the uncle who'd ordered their death, they found the cave who nurtured him and call it Lupercal. It's thought that Lupercalia took place to honor the she-wolf Right. That is the when I've said this to my wife the other day is when you listen to um people talk about history now with open ears, it just sounds so ridiculous. We're watching what's the name of it? The Mayor of Kingstown, which is like the one of the three shows that the dude that made Yellowstone. He's got like three shows going right now. It's like Yellowstone 1883 and the Mayor of Kingstown. And I still wonder to this day how these things actually get put on air because it's like a liberal's nightmare. But they have the woman in there she's a teacher at a prison, and she keeps talking about how the what they did to the slaves and what they did to the Native Americans and what they did to this and they did, and I'm like listening to it, and it's like if you were the lowest common denominator, Joe Schmo, and if you heard it, you would think that it's the worst thing in the world. Oh my God, I can't believe what they did. But when you listen to it with new ears, you're like, how could anybody believe this garbage? It's just absolutely ridiculous. I wish I could remember the one that she said. Um, it's just so absolutely stupid. And I'm just like, how could anyone believe this garbage? It just sounds so absurd. It's just so absurd and over the top. I know it's possible. I'll say that it's possible all day, but just the way that it's told, that right there about the whole, oh, it's about two twins that were put in a basket because they were supposed to be killed by their uncle, and somebody put them in a basket, sent them down the river, and they were raised by wolves. Come on now, come on with this nonsense. It's about as stupid as a fat man with a beard coming out and giving toys to kids. Come on now. Anyways, Lupercalia Rituals took place in a few places. Lupercal Cave on Palatine Hill and within a Roman open-air public meeting place called the Comitium. Comitium? Right. The festival began at Lupercal Cave with the sacrifice of one or more male goats, a representation of sexuality. Really? A goat is a representation of sexuality, and a dog. What? The History Channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying it right now. The History Channel. These are the people that want you to believe that ancient aliens. Period. The sacrifices were performed by Luperci, a group of Roman priests. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, the foreheads of two naked Luperci were smeared with the animal's blood using a bloody sacrificial knife. Blood was then removed with a piece of milk-soaked wool as the Luperci laughed. Anyways, History Channel, just come on now, keep with me. When the feast was over, the strips. Oh God! In ancient Rome, feasting began after the ritual sacrifice. When the feast of Lupercal was over, the Luperci cut strips, also called thongs of februa, of goat hide from the newly sacrificed goats. Then they ran naked, or nearly naked, around Palatine, whipping any woman within striking distance with the thongs. Now, if you read this other places, this was there to get up the sexual drive when they whipped them, which is very similar to BDSM right now. But they would take these. I can't remember the name. Floggers. They would take these floggers, and they would go out. And they would whip these girls up. They would get them all whipped up. It's BDSM. I'm just saying. It's been there for years. It's been there for years. You just haven't noticed, and I'm pointing it out to you now. It's been there forever. But they would whip these girls with this, and they would get their sexual drives up, because girls like being spanked. I don't know what it is. They just like it. I'm not condoning anybody going out spanking any women. I'm just saying. During Lupercalia, the men randomly chose a woman's name from a jar to be coupled with them for the duration of the festival. Often the couple stayed together until the following year's festival, and many fell in love and married. Okay, so this is the History Channel. They're taking a lot of what they heard from somewhere else, and they're changing it. So the actual way that it used to go is the women would take boxes and they would put their names on pieces of paper into boxes. And then the men would come around and they would pull out the woman's name. Hopefully, they would pull out the woman's name that they wanted out of this box, and they would present it to the woman the same way you do with your children at school, where they make little Valentine's Day boxes, and the guys put Valentine's Day into the girls' boxes. This is where this comes from. But they would give this to the girls, and then they would go off and they would have sex. And what would happen is the couple would stay together until the following year's festival, when they would take the child that they had together and sacrifice it, because that was part of the ritual. That was part of the Lupercalia. This is the History Channel washing Lupercalia down as nice and pretty as possible. Animal sacrifices, my ass. There might have been a goat. There may have very easily have been a goat when this all started, but by the end of it, they were probably sacrificing kids. Many fell in love and married. Oh, I'm sure they did. But the main crux of all this was that men and women were getting together using names on pieces of paper, putting them inside of boxes, and then hopefully, whenever that person would pull that name, they could fall in love. The same way that your children, because Valentine's Day is not just an adult thing, it's aimed at kids now, with all the Valentine's Day candy and all the Valentine's Day, the little cards with the cartoon characters and all the other crap, aimed at the kids just like everything else. Where I remember anybody else remember making Valentine's Day boxes in school? I remember. You take a piece of paper, you fold it up, you tape it, and you can decorate it with the hearts and the crap and all the stuff, and you'd put it on your desk, or you'd tape it on your desk or something, and you'd wait for people to put Valentine's in your thing. I never really got any. I got like 2 or 3. But the cutest girls would get like 20 or 30 of them or whatever, and the most handsome boys would get a bunch of them. We were like 6 or 7 years old, man. Shouldn't have been worried about that kind of crap. But that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. It's Lupercalia. And then of course, it's like it says, they were running around, and it was a big sex orgy. That's what it was. All the Romans ever had was sex orgies. Christmas at one point was canceled because it was a big sex orgy. That's the truth. That's the truth. It was it Caesar's birthday, Julius Caesar's birthday, somebody else's birthday. I can't remember whose birthday it was that they said. But they would have big, huge orgies out in the streets, drunken debauchery, all this other kind of stuff. England actually banned Christmas back in the 1700s, because it was the orgies and debauchery were getting out of control. It's all ritual, man. Is they would go out, do their sacrifices, get drunk, have sex. That's what it used to be. Oh, but that's not true. That's not the way it used to be. Bullshit. Come on. Go look it up for yourself. This stuff is it's not even hidden. I think a lot of this stuff is like, Wikipedia at this point. It's not hidden. It never was hidden. It's there. It's just most people don't want to believe it because most people don't want to give it up, because if you believe it, that means that you would have to start giving it up, which is the biggest problem of it all, is that nobody wants to give up their Christmas because they think it's all happy and joyful, and so many precious memories, and I love the lights and the decorations and all that. Yeah, but and then we could run this one all day. I love Easter. It's so great. Uh-huh. I'm sure Christ loves it whenever you're worshiping a rabbit and, you know, dipping an egg into colors the way that they used to dip eggs into the blood of virgins. How's that working for you? You know? Oh, I love Halloween. Oh, it's so cute to see the kids in their costumes and all that. Uh-huh. And that signifies your kids running around in costumes to keep demons from stealing them and sacrificing them. That's exactly what Halloween is. And then the next day they have All Hallows Eve where they kill everybody. I love Valentine's Day because, you get to go and you get to show how much somebody loves you. And, they come and they bring you gifts. Yeah, so that you guys can have sex, so that you can have a child for next year's ritual. Do you not see how this works? It's there. It's been there. It's always been there. Remus and Romulus were probably not nephews of some king. They were probably gods. They were probably gods, and it was probably a thing where they were celebrating these wolf gods. It's probably why there's so many it's been so many songs and talk about wolves. um at least I've noticed there's been a lot of wolf talk, a lot of wolf songs, a lot of wolf things that have come out within the past 10 years. Um, and I never really understood it why, but it, it could have something to do with that. I don't know. I don't know. Is there a wolf in the Bible? I have to look that up. And yes, if you need to know, I am trying to log into my computer because I do have to work. But man, everything is a damn thing. There's nothing legitimately, you know. Nothing legitimately, good anymore. It's all got something behind it. Oh, what's this? It's true Valentine's Day uses some of Lupercalia's symbols, intentionally or not, such as the color red, which represents a blood sacrifice during Lupercalia, and the color white, which signifies the milk used to wipe the blood clean and represents new life and procreation. Uh huh. Uh huh. You see? These, these people were not. These people were not making children for the sake of making children. But you go to Wikipedia, it does the whole thing of Wikipedia. The festival was originally known as Februa. 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 Just add an R and a Y and you have February. It has two meanings. Februa is purifications or purgings. Wow. After what? After the Freebrum, which was used on the day. What is a Freebrum? Let's look up what a Freebrum is. Latin term Freebrum meaning purification. Okay. The shortest month on the Roman calendar. Belonging and offering purification. Oh my goodness. It gets deep. It gets deep. It always gets deep. Stature of Lupercal is she-wolf. It's all Lupercus. Locations, the rites were confined to the Lupercal cave. No, they probably weren't. It was probably not. But again, it's just more. It's just more. That's all it is. It's just more and more and more. And just you can see. You can see just how it just what is it? Despite the banning in 391 of all non-Christian cults and festivals. What? The Lupercalia was celebrated by the nominally Christian populace on a regular basis. Into the reign of the Emperor Anastasius. Yeah, it gets deep. You can go look it up yourself. There's probably so much more to it that, they're just. You got Wikipedia and you've got, the History Channel and you've got everything, behind it that are changing everything that we know. So, you don't know what's real anymore. You don't know what's not real anymore. What I do know is, again, there's a book. I don't care when it was written. I don't care how it was written. There is a book that says that there were four big celebrations a year, which just happens to coincide with what's going on nowadays, where every single one of these holidays has been whitewashed down to a point to where they are safe and digestible to the people, marketed to the people, to where they are just, innocent little playtime festivals that people get together and just do, whatever. Just, but we follow the same exact practices. We follow the same exact patterns. We use the same colorings. We use everything. Every part about it comes from something else that pagans did back in the day. And at least two of those festivals get called out in the Bible specifically. I think there's a couple other ones too that get called out in the Bible specifically. And it says, don't do this. God Himself says, don't do this. Don't live like this. Follow my festivals. Follow my feasts. But of course, again, it's just people they were fed the lie. They want to believe the lie and they go along with it. And that's the trouble that we're in now. So Do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Tell you God says that He doesn't want you. He doesn't want you living that way. He says there's a better way. Above all, He says, don't worship me the way that they worship their gods. And again, I say this probably is not about. It's not about fertility. This is probably just another way for them to worship their gods. And you take that as it is. You follow along with this world, or you follow the Father. It's one way or the other. I guess. I don't know. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to keep calling it out. And people are going to tell me I'm wrong, which they've done before. People are going to tell me I'm stupid, which they've done before. People are going to tell me that I'm ignorant, that I don't know what I'm talking about, which I've heard it. I've heard it a million times. You can call me whatever you want to. I'm going to keep saying it because it's right there in front of our faces. It's been there, right there in front of our faces this whole time. And, you're going to tell me that God knows my heart, and then I'm going to tell you that, yeah, God knows that men's hearts are evil. You can keep telling me these things, and I'm going to keep telling you that what you are saying is only there for your own vanity so that you can keep living in this world. We have to move out of this. We have to become better. Or we're not going to change anything by following the ways of this world. We have to change from the ground up. There's got to be something better than this. So anyways, there you go. Thank you guys for listening. Just losing more and more of my audience. That's just fine with me. I have already said that, I'm going to speak the truth, speak it plainly, no matter what. If you think I'm wrong, and if you think there's a place, either in the Bible or somewhere else, that I can look, where I can see it for myself that I'm wrong, then I will be more than happy to change my ways. I will shuck off the feasts of God and go back to celebrating your Christmases and your Valentine's days and your Easter and your Halloween. I'll be that guy. But I have yet to see any proof whatsoever that I'm supposed to go do that. I have yet to see it. Not only that, it's not only that. I said at the beginning of this whole thing, and to my wife, I told her, I said, you know what? I don't want to celebrate Christmas just because well, I don't want to celebrate any of it just because it's part of this world. It's these lies that they fed us, that they're just there. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I want to be part of something better. I don't want to just live with this nonsense. I want to have something better than this. So that's why I told her I would rather not celebrate them and feel happy knowing that I'm doing something that feels good for a change than just selling myself out to something that is a lie to begin with anyways. That's just me. I'd rather do something better with my life. So that's where I stand on it. At any rate. But I gotta go. I have to go to work. So you people take care. Watch out for yourselves. Watch out what you're doing. Go look it up. Go look it up. If you can prove me wrong, and if you think I'm an idiot, and you don't think I'm talking out of my ass, go do what you're gonna do. Go. The funniest part is that They have us wasting our fake money buying fake crap for people that we love. Stuff that, you know, stuff that probably won't last for more than a month. That, yeah, it's just garbage nonsense that you didn't really need anyways. It's either that or, it's like a vacation or something that you spend too much money on. A piece of jewelry that you spend way too much money on. Just saying. Uh, look into diamonds. See where diamonds come from. Yeah. See just how worthless that gold, quote unquote gold that you buy for jewelry actually is. That's some interesting stuff. Because diamonds, if they can make a diamond with almost the same quality as a diamond that they pull out of the ground, what does that say about you know what does that say about diamonds? That's just is it real scarcity, or is it manufactured scarcity? Just a thought. Anyways, I'm not the guy to talk about that kind of stuff because that's not where my research has been. So you guys take it easy. I shall see you later, and God bless you all. Just watch out, man. Watch out. Know what you're getting into. All right. I should talk to you later.